Today marks the official start of the hurricane season, which runs through to November. Forecasters are predicting a below normal Atlantic hurricane season. That means 6 to 11 named storms, 3 to 6 of which may become hurricanes, with 0 to 2 of them becoming major hurricanes. Even though the forecast is better than previous years, we still have to be vigilant and responsible in securing lives and property. For more information, visit odpem.org.jm. Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We have a packed show in store for you, so please stay with us.
Prevent chikungunya. Get rid of mosquito breeding sites around the home. Empty dish drainers and keep refrigerator troughs dry. Punch holes in the bottom of tin cans before placing them in the garbage. Keep houseplants in damp soil instead of water and keep flowerpot saucers dry. Keep drains, ditches, roof gutters and eaves clean so water will drain properly. And remember to open your windows during fogging. Also, wear light-colored clothing and cover your body as much as possible to prevent mosquito bites. For more information on chikungunya prevention, call the Ministry of Health toll-free at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683. Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Monday, June 1. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries has announced a $25 million program to rehabilitate agricultural areas recently destroyed by fires. $18.5 million will go towards the replanting of coffee in the Blue Mountain Ridge, $1.5 million to replant banana and plantain in rural St. Andrew, and $5 million will implement drought mitigation methods.
What this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that we will invest a total of $25,089,000 in resuscitating, rehabilitating, and bolstering the resilience of agricultural production in these areas.
The minister was speaking recently during a tour of areas affected by fire in Blue Mountain, St. Andrew. Under the rehabilitation program, coffee farmers whose crops were completely damaged will get $30,000 and 900 seedlings to rehabilitate each acre of land. They will also get 450-kilogram bags of fertilizer. Those farmers whose crops were partially damaged will get 250-kilogram bags of fertilizer.
This will enable farmers to resuscitate for summer, as the fall of 2015 and spring 2016. And the project will be managed by RADA in collaboration with the Coffee Industry Board and the Jamaica Agricultural Society.
300 650-gallon water tanks will also be distributed to farmers to help mitigate the effects of the drought. The policy of withholding tax on specified services has been postponed until further notice. Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ was to implement the tax today, Monday, June 1, but changed its decision following discussions with various private sector groups. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips and TAJ Commissioner General Ainsley Powell met with the groups recently. The Finance Ministry says the stakeholders will have further discussions on the impact of the withholding tax, particularly on entities that do not issue withholding tax certificates. When those discussions are completed, TAJ will indicate any changes to the withholding tax regime and the new implementation date. Parliament amended the Income Tax Act in 2013, making withholding tax applicable to specified services such as accounting, entertainment, and management. Under the new regime, 3% withholding tax is to be applied to invoices valuing $50,000 or more. And the new passport fees took effect today. An adult passport now costs $6,500 and a passport for a minor $4,000. The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, said the increases were necessary to cover inflation and the movement in the exchange rate. The agency will also be self-sufficient this fiscal year and will get no funding from government. The new passport fees were initially scheduled to take effect on May 26, but PICA pushed back the implementation date to accommodate the large volume of persons applying for passports since the new fees were announced. Local authorities have begun preparing for the Atlantic hurricane season, which officially begins today. Even though the Meteorological Service of Jamaica is predicting a less than average hurricane season, Jamaicans are urged to be adequately prepared. Local Government and Community Development Minister Noel R. Scott says parish councils have begun to clean drains and infirmaries are being continuously assessed to ensure they are fully equipped for the season. The minister was speaking yesterday at a church service to mark the start of Disaster Preparedness Month.
But this year, we will not only focus our attention on hurricane and storms, but also technological, geological and other potential threats.
Disaster Preparedness Month is being observed under the theme Connect to Protect, advancing emergency telecommunications, strengthening community mobilization. As part of the month-long activities, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM will be rolling out a public education campaign. And with the help of the government of Argentina, ODPEM will this year launch the National Volunteers Program.
The project is aimed at equipping ordinary Jamaicans with the skills and basic equipment to play a role in disaster management and more so in response to emergency situations.
And finally, a call is being made for citizens in Frankfield, Clarendon to reclaim their community by reporting illegal activities. The community often shows up on police reports of violence. National Security Minister Peter Bunting told residents that violence among adults is almost always filtered down to children.
As long as you tolerate criminals in the community, as long as you tolerate illegal guns, you are going to find these gangsters preying on your children. Report them to the police.
Minister Bunting was speaking at the first in a series of town hall meetings on child abuse at Edwin Allen High last Thursday. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Acting on recommendations from Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, the first in a series of town hall meetings on child protection was held last Thursday in Frankfield, Clarendon. See more on this story, plus others, in Jamaica House Weekly.
Frankfield community empowered to report child abuse. 70 Jamaicans receive land titles and framework being laid to ratify ILO convention dealing with protection of domestic workers. I'm Lorraine Mendez with Jamaica House Weekly. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller last week dispatched members of her cabinet to Frankfield and Clarendon for honest and open conversations about child abuse. The first in a series of town hall meetings was held last Thursday at the Edwin Allen High School. Minister with responsibility for youth Lisa Hanna kicked off talks by encouraging persons to report cases of child abuse.
Parents, communities, please, child protection is everyone's business. Students, teachers, pastors, counselors, not only the government. If you see something happening, it is your duty to report it and to save our children.
She was joined by National Security Minister Peter Bunting, who represented Prime Minister Simpson Miller.
The best thing you can do to protect the children in your household, on your road, in your community, is to report that illegal gun. There are many, many ways to do it. There's Crime Stop. You can tell a trusted adult, you can tell a pastor, a teacher, anybody who you trust. There is the new Stay Alert app. Many of you kids probably have smartphones now. You can download it for free and you can report these things.
Earlier in the week, the Prime Minister visited Western Jamaica, where she issued 70 land titles to residents of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland. She told the gathering that land titling was of high priority for the government.
My government will continue our efforts to ensure that Jamaica is an ownership society where Jamaicans in every community have legal ownership of land.
Prime Minister Simpson Miller revealed plans to expand the business process outsourcing sector out west. This is to be done in conjunction with the private sector.
The BPO industry here in Western Jamaica is being extended to Sandy Bay and Lucy in Hanover, where new BPO factory space is now being created to generate more investments and jobs.
On Thursday, the Office of the Prime Minister shot down claims in a newspaper article that Pamela Watson was a former advisor to the Prime Minister. In a statement, the OPM said Ms. Watson was at no time employed to the government of Jamaica. The statement also revealed checks by the OPM, which indicate that Ms. Watson is an active member of the Jamaican diaspora in South Florida. Prime Minister Simpson Miller promised to work closely with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to see to the ratification of the ILO Convention, which deals with domestic workers, including gardeners.
Jamaica supports the convention and is taking the necessary steps to officially ratify it because we are supporting the decent work agenda of the ILO. This important convention signals a major step towards justice and equity for the estimated 50 to 100 million household workers globally.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the second annual Grace Kennedy Heather Littlewhite Household Worker of the Year Award on Friday at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Top honors went to Rosetta Steer, while Jasmine Miller and Charmaine Smith rounded out the top three. Steer walked away with $250,000, an account with $25,000, a $30,000 gift voucher from High-Low Food Stores, and the decision to choose a secondary school student whose education Grace Kennedy will fund for a year. Prime Minister Simpson Miller also took some time to greet visitors to Jamaica House this past week. On Tuesday, she said goodbye to outgoing Brazilian ambassador to the island. Mrs. Simpson Miller thanked Antonio da Costa e Silva for his tenure, during which time the countries signed a visa abolishment agreement, an air services agreement, and the twinning of the city of Kingston and the city of Salvador, Brazil. And on Thursday, the Prime Minister held talks with a delegation from the Institute of Chartered Accountants. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for the latest stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
While we can't prevent a natural disaster from happening, we can limit the impact it has on our lives. Watch as OddPem's Richard Thompson shares some useful hurricane tips.
Your hurricane preparedness starts even before you're into the aspect of your hurricane watch, hurricane warning, that kind of thing. It starts long before that, where you're, as I said before, you're doing your checks to ensure that you have adequate hurricane straps. You, from a retrofitting standpoint, you look at pruning of your trees. You look at ensuring that you have adequate supplies, so you don't have a rush on the supermarket. What people normally tend to do, you run on the supermarket when you hear that we're getting a hurricane, and then you find out you might get there late and there is nothing. Ensure that you have your supplies in hand and you can rotate those supplies. Ensure that you have your medical supplies. There are a lot of persons that are diabetic, with a large population in Jamaica that are diabetic. You have people who suffer from respiratory problems and are asthmatic and stuff like that. Ensure that you always have those supplies. Ensure that your documents are protected. You don't want to end up in a situation where you don't have all your school certificates and you're unable to probably go, when you're going out for an interview, you can't locate them. Ensure that you always have adequate fuel in your car. I know fuel is expensive, but ensure that you do have that, because you might have to do some kind of emergency movement after the system. Do your general checks. Ensure that your windows are properly secured, your doors are properly secured. You don't want to have those go. Ensure that you talk to your neighbor and you develop some kind of response activity with your neighbor, because sometimes the first person that will come to your aid is actually your neighbor. So these are some of the things that people should consider before the system.
Each time you're not paying full attention to the road environment, the greater your chances of getting in a crash like that. Plan routes to avoid focusing on GPS systems, prevent children from roaming in motor vehicles, turn down the volume of car stereo systems, pull off the roadway if you have to use mobile devices, do not read, watch television or eat while driving, avoid multitasking, and keep conversations with other passengers to a minimum. Whether you walk, ride or drive, avoid potentially fatal distractions.
Another important issue is being put into focus this month. That is road safety. We're just coming off Child Month, which also placed a special emphasis on children in the traffic environment, and stakeholders have all given their commitment to the cause.
May the good Lord be with you down every road you roll.
Every 3 minutes, a child is killed on the global road network. We have to stop it.
And may you grow to be proud, dignified and true.
Our children are at risk, as they are among the most vulnerable road users being struck down daily globally on the road network. Children are often injured and die as they travel to school. Parents, guardians, take charge and secure and protect our children, because they are our nation's future. Do not allow them to travel to school alone without proper adult supervision. Ensure that they are belted in child restraint system and not transported in vehicles packed in what Jamaicans say, sardine pans. It's not safe. We cannot have our children being transported in chunks of motor vehicles across the country. We must stop it. Our children have wishes to live a fruitful life, and not one that will be cut short as a result of needless road traffic crashes.
It's our job to keep the roads them safe, and to take care of the youth them so we know them safe. Yeah. Obey the road code. Don't race. Check it out. You understand? Road safety. Save kids' lives.
Look how much people are dead. Look how much road accidents are caused. No blood for shed. Look how the man a run the red. And I go like him a shot a God. No say him lose him head. Look how the man a drink and drive. And I do 120 on a road when I 50 him for drive. Look how the driver just a dilly and a dally and a rock it to the beat of the song. With the school picnic them. What did you say?
Listen to the children. Let us make the road safe for them all.
We are beg take time. Lives are on the line. Drink and drive is a crime.
Children and young people constitute a major group at risk of death, injury, and disability resulting from traffic crashes. Based on scientific data and observations, Driver behavior and pedestrian use of the roadways are major contributors to the rates of accidents and collisions, resulting in death, injury to drivers, passengers, and road users. Since the start of the year, the Road Traffic Department has investigated 114 fatal traffic collisions for a total of 124 persons who have been killed, and of this 124, 9 of these were our children. The Jamaica Constabulary Force Traffic Department and its partners have dedicated our efforts at 1. Raising awareness about the impact of road traffic injuries. 2. Promoting the effective use of seatbelts and helmets. 3. Heightening awareness in the correct use of the roadway.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you could save a life when you're on the road.
Our target is 240. We are already at 124. If you continue on this trajectory, we are going to be heading to about 340, 350. So we need to get very smart. We need to organize to bring this in keeping with the current discussions in our international forum.
Stay safe, drive safe. I'm Danique, I am Supergirl. Help me save lives.
Road safety is something that's very near and dear to our family. I lost a brother in a car accident some years ago, and it's something that no family ever wants to go through. And the facts are there for the reading. 71% of road fatalities in Jamaica are caused by disorderly driving. It is a culture in our country that we have got to start to curb one day at a time. For the kids, the hashtag is Save Kids Lives. In this country, we often feel like we don't want to say anything in the back of the car. We get into cars without seatbelts. The bad driving that takes place, and we don't want to tell the taxi man or the commercial driver to slow down, because it may not, you may be amongst friends or people, and them saying, oh, you're not really cool if you do that. And these are the cultural elements that we have to change.
The focus on our children is needed more now than ever, as many are losing their lives to crime, abuse, neglect, and road crashes. Since 2010, approximately 561 children have died on our nation's road. And already for 2015, a total of 5 have lost their lives as a result of road crashes. We must all do our share in making our roads safer for our vulnerable road users. Consequent on this, our ministry, the Ministry of Transport, Works and Housing, in its road safety program, will this year place special focus on the children, the elderly, persons with special needs, pedestrians, motorcyclists, and cycle and pedal cyclists. I call upon our other partners, the ministries, our agencies, private sector stakeholders to come on board as we work together to reduce the deaths on the road and to achieve Jamaica's target of below 300.
Let's put the children first in everything that we do.
We drive the cars. Cars don't drive us.
I'm Razan, and hear this. Our safety is not only our parents' responsibility, it's our job to keep ourselves safe, especially on the roads. When crossing the streets, always use the pedestrian crossings. If there are none present, we should always look both ways, making sure no cars or bikes are coming before we make our way across. If walking with friends, walk ahead or behind. Never form a line going across the road. Also, don't play on the road. I know it seems fun, but running after a friend playing with a cell phone or toy is very dangerous because you'll be distracted and you won't see the car or bike that could hurt you. And very importantly, always head straight home from school. Don't loiter on the roads. It's for your safety.
And that's how we close Jamaica Magazine for today. We're here to serve you, so please continue to send your queries and comments to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. Our website, gis.gov.jm, has news, features, and information you can use to make your interaction with the government and its agencies easier. You may also join us on Twitter at JIS News. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching and pleasant viewing.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.